Hello everybody, in this video I'm going to do the weights on these new tires. These are the Bear MX618 knockoff Outback Max tires you can get on Simple Tire for 70-80 bucks. These are 32s, the 34s are the cheapest. These are for 17-inch wheels, they're just kind of a weird size wheel, probably why they're cheap. I'm also going to give you a little tutorial on how to cut knobbies off of tires a very redneck way, which is what I'll probably do with these to open them up because obviously the tread is inadequate. But yeah, so just a little tire review and then me cutting off a few knobbies with a couple different methods. Pretty funny. So I probably should have posted this in the other video. This is posted on the Mud Puppy question and answer page. But these are the part numbers for the HD Demon axles. I've got about a dozen people texting me, emailing me, facing me, Instagram, Bookface, whatever, asking me the part numbers because they're wrong on the website. These are the part numbers you need to call and order or email them and order Demon HD axles for your Honda. So you're welcome. If you need this chart, it's also on the Mud Puppy Facebook page.
Well, there you have it, guys. That is the cheapest 32-inch tire you can get. I think it was like 80 bucks shipped from Simple Tire, and it weighs 54.1 pounds. Kind of heavy for a 32, but really not bad. It's for a 17-inch wheel, so that makes it lighter, right? Because there's more space in here, and it's gonna have a bigger, heavier wheel. But it's really not that bad. And the tread, it's hard. It's very hard. It's almost plasticky. The spacing's really close. It's going to be a shit tire, right? But for the price, I had to test it out. So we're going to probably lop off every other knobby. We'll probably start with these or something. We'll do something crazy with them. They're so cheap. I just had to try them. And plus, I'm waiting for my 33 by 9 by 18 Tarachis. I wanted a bigger wheel for the Talon. It'll look a lot better and handle a little better with a bigger wheel. Than the 32s and the 14s. So these are 17-inch wheels. The wheels are going to come in later this week. They're really, really stiff. I mean, there's no air in these things, and there's just no give. The sidewalls are real stiff. It's going to be very fun to mount. But that has got to be the flattest tread profile I've ever seen for a tire. I would say it's not mounted yet, but that looks to be about 7 inches right there. Maybe it's like 9, so maybe it won't be quite as flat. But I love the flat profile, and they're just so cheap I had to get a set to try them out. So they're advertised as 10 inches wide. Let's see about that. Yep, right at 10. But the thing with most tires that are 10-inch wide, it means it's 10-inch wide from here to here, and the tread is not that wide. That is a wide tire. It's like a full 10 because the tread goes about an inch wider than the Aztecs and a whole lot heavier. Now, unfortunately, I can't give you an accurate height measurement because the wheels won't be here until like this weekend or maybe Friday. 0 PSI, obviously. They are right at a 30. They're actually a little shy of 30. They're easy to measure because they're so flat. So probably gonna measure a little short. I don't see these things ballooning very much with PSI because they're so stiff. So, I mean, they aren't giving it all. That's the stiffest tire I've ever bought. So even at 5 or 6 PSI, they're gonna be like a 31, which is about the same as the 32-inch Aztecs. They're a little short. And, the weight is similar to a 32 Silverback. So, whatever, we'll make something cool out of it though. So there is an even number of knobbies we've determined. So what I'll probably start by doing is take off every other lug, and on the opposite side, do the opposite. So take off this lug and this lug and this lug, leave all the center, just take these edge pieces off. Because right now it's not gonna clean out worth a crap. It's really, you're gonna need a lot of wheel speed. It's almost like an all-terrain. It's obviously a shameless knockoff of the STI Outback Max tire, which is also heavy and stiff and whatnot. But if you look at it real creatively, if you were to cut off each of these knobbies and leave that, that's a Mamba. So this is like your alternative for a really cheap Mamba on better wheel sizes. It's also lighter than a Mamba, but that's almost the exact tread, right? If you left this little bunch here, remove both of these and had this bar tread, which would be brutal. I mean, it'd probably break all kinds of stuff because it's just an insane amount of bite, but that's pretty much a Mamba in disguise. So these are those new cheapo tires. What are they even called? I keep calling them the new cheapo. MX618s, made by Bear. They're like the cheapest ATV tire you can get. Simple Tire has them on sale right now. So that they're supposed to be a 32. There's them next to a 31 Outlaw 3 with no air in them. So yeah, I don't know, they might be kind of true. They measure 30 inches tall. This has the bike on it at 5 PSI, so they might be a little taller than these once aired up. But as you can see, they're just a ridiculous tire. If you look at the tread spacing, the Outlaw has almost twice the tread spacing. So Robin just noticed it because it's pretty much common sense. These aren't going to clean out very well until you cut off half the knobbies. To cut tires, I've messed with all of them. I'll show you a few different rubber compounds are cut easiest with different methods, obviously. So this is just a Harbor Freight oscillating tool, and you literally just use the sharp one. It kind of helps to round it a little bit. I usually end up filing with a grinder, but let's see how soft this is. Might just cut right through it like butter. As you can see, that cut pretty quick through that knobby. We did a pretty crappy job, but you can see we took off basically that whole knobby. So if I do that all the way around, it'll make it, I might even take off this knobby too, to make it kind of like a two-stage lug sort of deal. I don't know, just something I'm probably going to play with and mess with and you know, completely ruin the tire doing. But that's why I got these. They're cheap, save some weight. That's a pretty good sized chunk of rubber I got off there. It does not feel like a very high quality rubber. It feels very plasticky and crappy. Tire hasn't been cut off. So 73, and we'll do that on, let's do a Tarachi. You're looking at 64. So that's obviously a broken in tire a little bit, but very, very hard tire. You get a big flat chisel like this, and a thick glove like this, and a torch like this. Big flat chisel and a torch. How this works. See, on this type of rubber, it's almost like a hard plastic. The other method went through it a lot quicker. It's actually having a pretty hard time. That's barely cutting it. On like an old pair of boggers, this method goes right through it. There you go. Barely cutting through it. It's a pretty fat knobby though. There you go. Cut another knobby off. So pretty big chunks of plastic there. Obviously I'm not going to do this myself. I'm going to take it somewhere and have it done professionally. I'm just kind of giving you an idea of what I'm going for there. So that opened up the tread a lot to clean out. So that works good for taking off big chunks, and then probably wondering what you do once you get it down to smaller chunks. You use a tire groover, and I bought one time, and I don't have the slightest idea where that sucker ended up. So you get most of the rubber off like that, and then you go up there with a groover and you clean it up after the fact. Some people also use a chainsaw. I'm not a real big fan of that method, or like a circular saw. Seems like kind of like death, but you know, that's what I'm going for. Got to open this tread up. This tread is just way too close. Like I said, it's a knockoff STI Outback Max, which isn't not a very good tire. But so let's get an idea of how much weight we could save by just this method. So there's 18 knobbies per tire, and I'm going to take off one of these from each side of the knobby. So what's the bigger chunk I cut off? Which one was it? I can't really tell them apart. This looks like the melty one. So if we take this and we multiply it by 18, that will tell us how much weight we're going to save. It is 0.2 pounds. So you do the math. 0.2 times 18. What's 18 times 2? Let's see, 50 times 2 is 30. And then 3 times 2 is 6, so 36. So 3.6 pounds is how much you'd get off by cutting off all these knobbies. That's not a huge amount, but you're only cutting off, you know, one knobby from each row. If you did 2 knobbies from each row or so on and so forth, you'd obviously get a lot more off weight wise. But yeah, so pretty interesting. Also, I didn't even get the whole knobby off. There's a lot more weight that's going to come off there. And I'm not sure how thick this carcass is. It doesn't actually feel that thick. So you probably couldn't shave too deep into it. But one of those guys that's really good at shaving tires could probably do something for you.